Hello everybody, it's assassinatorRFC and this is a tutorial on how I do music sequences. Joining me today is Sim, and I've got a few things here to show you and how you can make your music sequences awesome. Now I'm going to try something new, so if you click the annotation where you want to go, hello Sim, you can go to create, you can go to key combinations or BPM. If you click on them, then you'll be able to go on the annotation that will take you to that section, and if you just want to watch them all, then just keep watching. So first of all, we're going to go with BPM. Now BPM is beats per minute, and I have 4 different BPMs to show you. I have 60 BPM, 80 BPM, 120 BPM, and 180. Thank you, Seb. Okay, so 60 BPM is 1 beat per second, and I have a music sequencer to show you this. So, this is good for kind of slow songs and just a chill out kind of groove. Now, the next one I have is 80 BPM, which is a bit faster, kind of got a swing to it. And I'm in trouble here because I think I'm going to sneeze, but hopefully I'll not. Okay, 120 BPM is 2 beats per second. This is kind of the general kind of beat that I use. Sim seems to be liking it. So that is good for kind of vibey tunes that I tend to make. Now 180 BPM is 3 beats a second, and that is your kind of that's your kind of dance kind of vibe to it. So in conclusion, chill out, swing kind of, easy listening, vibey kind of drum and bass, and dance kind of music. So what we have next is we have key combinations. Now these faces represent keys. Now there are 2 keys that you want to use in music. The frowny face means minor, which is your kind of sad and depressive kind of sound. The happy face is the major key. Now major and minor can go together to create pretty good tunes. Now what I have is I have 4 key examples, and what I'm going to show you first is I'm going to show you the major, minor, major, minor, major, and I suggest you don't say this to someone in real life because they'll think you're a bit strange, but here we go. The first key is minor, second is major, then minor, then major. So that can be your 4 beats, and that's usually how I progress in songs. The next one is the opposite, and it's major, minor, major, minor. So yes, it's mainly on how you put the keys together on how the song will sound. Now I have 2 more here. I have major, major, minor, minor, and minor, minor, major, major. I suggest you don't say this to people in real life because they will think you're a bit strange, and yeah, I'm not taking no responsibility for people looking a bit silly saying this in real life. So this one's major, major, and minor, minor. So these are all good good starts, and this is how I tend not to repeat my kind of song types. Now, I think these are running at 60 BPM, no, 240 BPM to get these. You can easily compress these four into one. So, yes. Now onto the create. This is where I'm going to create original mix just for your viewing pleasure. Now, first of all, close these down, like so, just to clean it up. Because I may need a lot of space, because I intend to show you how to make a drum rhythm, lead synth, and thank you for that, Sim. Thank you for the contribution. So, what I'm actually going to do is take some of these chords, and I'm going to show you how I can make a song with them. It is very easy to make songs if you know how to do it, so I recommend you experiment with different key sounds. One of the best things to do is, if you are kind of new to music, is go onto the internet and go onto a virtual keyboard. Now, I will put a link in the description to one that I've used in the past, and it's I think it may be multi-touch keys, and that will be possible for you to create the chords. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have major, minor, major, minor. I think I'll swap these around. In fact, I'll have a minor, major, major, minor, and I'll keep them separate just so you can see what I'm doing with it. So I'm going to change this one to, I think it's an E, E minor. I suggest with pianos that you don't make. There you go. I'll take the top note of the chord and put it up 2 to get that kind of sound. I'm not sure whether that works every time, but it seems to some chords, and if you want a variation, then it works. And this might look like a smiley face if I keep at it. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to add a bass line, and to do that I'll get the plucked bass. Usually I would use a synth, but for the purpose of the tutorial I will do this. So far we have minor, major, major, and then minor again. And what I'm going to do is I am going to compress these into here before I do anything else, and then I can raise the BPM so that it is simple 4 to 4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 2-beat overlap here, and that creates a kind of half beat of the it kind of creates a hammer on of the next chord. And then we're going to make the last two. In fact, I do like the center chord, so I'm going to keep that and just add a D to finish off. You have to persist with this because I have found it to be a little bit laggy online. going to add a C. There we go. There you go. And if you want to add variation, you can add a hammer-on chord just in that in this section here, and that will create a pretty cool effect to have the next chord go on. So we have our first kind of harmonic beat pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy over that. Now have been very nice, and they've made it so that they mark out each 8 beats. So these represent 4. Now what I tend to do in the music that I make, I tend to stick to a strong 4/4 pattern. So I bring in stuff every 8 and 4 beats. So I could bring it in here and it wouldn't sound too out of place, and I bring it in here and it still wouldn't sound out of place. So for the bass, I'm going to do improvisation of a build up to the lead. Now you can control the volume with the right stick by pushing it up and down, and for bass you might want to put it all the way up to the top, because it can be hard to hear. Now I'll do a half beat of that. And then I'll do Now, what you can do with these, if you want it louder, you can always double it up. That seems to be a good method to get the volume up. That works for drums if you have everything on volume 100. Okay, so let's listen to what we got. I think I will show you how to make synths and drums, and that will be it for this. Now, that sounds pretty good so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Bayan drums. Now, I adore these drums just for the bass of them. Now, the other drums are good for if you want filtered drums. You can use the synth pad and 8-bit. I think I'm going to start with a hi-hat 4. I'll make that an 8. Yeah, 8 it is. Now, what I tend to do with these is I tend to add little idents on the end, like so. A freebie can be very helpful just to edit what it sounds like, so it doesn't become repetitive, and yeah, it sounds good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 of them again, so now we have this. You can see it's coming together pretty well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a main synth. So what I'm going to use for that is I'm going to use the square synth, which is, in my personal opinion, one of the best for the kind of music that I make. So the square wave, actually. So here we have it. Most of my music is improvisation, and there is not all the lot that you can learn from it. Now, I'm just going to show you this. With the volume, you can actually edit individual notes. You can make them quiet so it fades off, or you can make it fade in like so. That sounds pretty good. And then I'll have one more of that, and this will just create a build up to the main kind of chorus part of the song. Now, if you have a look on the internet, there's probably a list of if you're really serious about making music in this kind of method, you might want to have a look on the internet, because there will be arpeggios of the major and minor chords, and that's probably what you want to look if you aren't too if you are just starting in music. So I suggest you do that if you are interested in making music on Little Big Planet. It may seem a bit extreme, it may sound a bit extreme, but however, your music will pretty much reflect you learning those chords. So I highly recommend that. And as you can see, we're just building it up, and it's got to be pretty loud, I'll admit that. Here I'm going to edit these drums, so I'll add not only with this, I'll add a snare, electronic snare, so it's coming in at the same time as the hi-hat, and it sounds pretty good. Now I'm going to copy that and place it on again, but this time I'm going to make end beat like so. That is one of the most common things I do, and yeah, it can get old, but as long as you don't use it too often and use different build-ups, like you've seen me use triplet build-ups if you have listened to some of my other songs, and you can also edit the pitch in synths by dragging like that, and it creates a pretty awesome wave kind of sounds. I used it in a few of my songs. I think What Happened to the Good Old Days had these, and a few other that I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, they used them as well. So what we're going to go here is we're going to show you that section, so you can hear it building up. Then we kick in with the complicated drum beat. Now, you can find drum beats in the community, but I tend to make my own ones because I like to. I suggest using a C1 bass, let's say. Now, I'm going to go for a simple one with a simple beat like this. After all, this might not be so simple. Right, okay. This is what I tend to do. I tend to copy them over like so that we have a 4 beat, because most of my drum beats are only 2 beats, so let's just play that. What happened there? So now what we do is we copy everything over into the next, and I think for now we'll leave no synth in, and I'm just looking at the video, we're at 20 minutes at the moment, so I've been talking for 20 minutes, unlike me. Okay, I think I'm going to continue the song and then upload it to my channel. So keep an eye out. I'll put a video description link in for this once it's done. So if you're watching this now, it is most likely up. So you can go check that out. Okay, so I have been assassinatorRFC, and before I go, I think I have an announcement to make. Now, I think what we have here is, yes, it is. Now, Sim has made a remix of all my songs, Now, I'm not going to ask him to play it because we're looking at the video length right now, and I'm thinking of ending it. So this will also go on the joint channel. I'll just send him a message. Okay, so this will go up on the joint channel. I'll put a link in the description for the joint channel. And this is like a teaser, as Sim says. Okay, thanks for that, Sim. Now, so, I've been assassinatorRFC, this has been Sim, and we wish you good morrow, and I hope this has helped. Feel free to contact me in the comments, and feel free to send me messages if you haven't seen anyone ask the same question. And yes, it will, Sim. And we're calling it a day here, so from me and Sim, have a good day, have a good night, and good morrow. Oh wait, is this still running?